Welcome to UFO Headline News with me, Heidi Hollis, where every day I aim to bring you the latest UFO reports and other fascinating stories from around the globe. Today is Monday, January 29th, 2018, and on Fridays at 8 p.m., please join me for my talk show, The Outlander, where I answer your emails, take your calls, and interview some intriguing guests, all based on the paranormal and UFOs and all of the above. Just go to irnchat.com to chat, interact, and listen live to The Outlander show. Blasting off with some UFO reports. UFO sighting in Hague, South Holland. Don't know if that's how you say it. Well, May 24th, 2012 is the UFO blast from the past. In brief, the witness calls it a transparent, cylindrical, 100-plus foot UFO glided through the sky off to sea. In more detail, the witness states, "My wife and I spent a day at the beach, the Hague, Netherlands. May 24th, 2012, when I just filmed the emptiness of the beach because there weren't many people. Only much later, when I looked at the footage on my iMac, in the distance I noticed some sort of craft in the sky, slowly moving from left to right until it disappeared in the haze over the North Sea. There had been no sound coming from the craft, or we would have heard it then and there. As far as the exact size and shape of the craft, I'm not sure, because it could have been 2 miles out from where we were, and it could be a cylindrical shape, but it could also be a disc shape, seen from the side. Heck, maybe it was a blimp! But I haven't seen one over the Hague in over 5 decades, and a blimp is not very likely, because a blimp is mostly used for promotional stuff, and why would a blimp go out to sea where there are no people? I'd like it if others could shed some light on this video. I've put it up on YouTube right here, and they put a lovely link. The next UFO sighting happened in Warner Robins, Georgia. This occurred January 15th, 2018. In brief, the witness states, very bright orange light hovering in northwest. Couldn't tell the altitude, but appeared over tree line. It disappeared and reappears just above the horizon, some distance away. Driving home, I saw what looked like a satellite, but was moving very fast east to west. In more detail, I was at Walmart on Booth Road around 8:30 p.m., and was putting my stuff in the car when I noticed a very bright star-like object hovering in the northeast. I tried to get a decent video, but got a poor quality one, of course. As soon as I looked away to shut the trunk, it was gone and reappeared just over the horizon in the same direction. I don't know how high it was, maybe over the tree line, maybe thousands of feet. I got in my car to drive home and headed north on Davis. I see a star-like object that looked very fast-moving, low-altitude satellite moving east to west. I called my husband and told him to look outside because the front of our place faces west. He saw it too. Thing is, I had the same experience back in October. Even weirder is last time this happened, a man in a black new Ford SUV sat in front of my neighbor's house and would not respond to me until I mentioned to my friend getting the tag number. She threw the car in reverse and went backward to the end of the road. Well, yesterday I had a man in an older model black Ford SUV. When I walked out my door, he bolted. He had Texas plates. Maybe it's all coincidence. I do live next to the Air Force Base and directly in between 2 major Army bases, both only an hour from here. Just strange stuff. Do you guys notice this pattern? It's always like they live near Air Force Base, not too far. They see a lot of air traffic. And then there's fireworks, and then there's smokers and dog walkers. Yeah, it's just interesting patterns. I dig it. I dig it. All right, UFO sighting in Trumbull, Connecticut. A slight UFO blast from the past has occurred August 31st, 2014. A mystery object sighted moving slowly over Griffith Park in broad daylight. Huh, all right. In more detail, I was working as part of a film crew in Griffith Park area, Los Angeles. Sometime in late 2014, several people on the crew saw this object moving slowly over the park, close enough to see clearly, but so unusual that no one could say what it was. Someone on the crew just happened to see it and pointed it out to the rest of us. It was impossible to say what it was. The object is somewhat bulbous, almost balloon-like, but rather complicated shape. At least two appendages hang down from the dome-like top. There was no indication of an engine or propellant device, but it moved at leisurely pace in a definite straight line. There was no sound associated with it. We all wondered at the object, but we were just simply puzzled too. I took a couple of pictures, but I didn't think much more of it until one of my current coworkers suggested that I report it to your organization. The object was generally overhead, but moving away from us by the time I saw it. It was even further away by the time I could get my camera and take these photos. Eventually, it moved away from us, and we just lost sight of it behind the trees. I would like to know if anyone has any idea what this object is, even if it's something innocuous and easily identified and not a, quote, mystery object. I would like to know what it is. Well, unidentified, and it was flying, and it's an object. Okay, moving on. This next UFO report, this happened in Newport, Minnesota, June 30th, 2016. They describe it as neon green and glowing. In more detail, I kept thinking benevolent thoughts telepathically to them and expressing that I wanted to see them one day. Kept seeing them in the sky, like they drop out of extreme speed just slow enough so I could tell it was a ship, then speed up and keep going. One night, at like, I don't know, 1:45 a.m., when I was walking home from a friend's house, I was thinking yet again more benevolent-based thoughts to the others, or extraterrestrials. I had seen that green light in the sky zip overhead. When I had gotten home, I was so hot from walking in a sweater. I went straight downstairs to cool off, and I don't know, maybe like 20 minutes after I got home, I was sitting there, and overwhelming tiredness came over me. This isn't the first visit, but most I remembered from one, and also when the implant was received. Oh, okay, we're talking about alien abduction here. I remember waking up from my mind being blank, just seeing black in my dream state, and when I awoke, I was like propped up, like, and sort of leaned, pushed back on my couch. Remember my back had a slight jar to it? Huh? So I sat up slowly, and when I did, I seen the one I call, oh my gosh, here we go again, the Hat Man. This is my territory, guys. Wow. We're talking about aliens, and we go to the Hat Man again. I felt something like a warm, vibrating sensation in my abdominal region, like all the muscles were sort of flexing in some strange way. 2 a.m.-ish. I didn't care on what he was doing. I was more wondering, like, why he was there. He tweaked his head a little, but did not take his eyes off on what he was doing, operating. I blacked out just a few seconds after he ratted me out for being awake. LOL. Huh? Then woke back up, I don't know, 10 minutes later from seeing blackness again. This time, I was sitting straight up with perfect posture. I was thinking, like, I wonder why he's there. Then, I don't know, maybe a few minutes go by, and I start to feel like I'm being watched. The hallway light was still on, and I look over and see this being standing there in this robe that is made out of Vanta black. You can see the atoms flow in and out, static blackness robe. I could move, just not my vocals, and yay, huh? I still freaked out. I think that meant yet. And asked for protecting myself and was saying, I'm not ready yet. A few moments after that, I think I blacked out again, and the one I call the Hat Man returned and said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah," but was sort of disoriented feeling, I suppose. All the lights were on. When he came back, I woke up. I think the being was wearing the robe because of the CFL lighting. Think it may burn their skin or something. I talked to Hat Man for a while and was about to walk around the corner into the blackness to face them, and then I lost my courage because he had started to head back to me. Huh? I feel like he said some important things to me, but I can't remember. Think it's locked away in my subconscious somewhere. Anyways, at the end I asked him what the implant in my ankle was for, and he said, "It's for them." And I looked at him like, "What?" And he said, "It's for you and for them." And I was like, "Okay, LOL." He said, "Now lay back down in a calm manner. Chill personality vibes." And I said, "Okay," and laid back down, covered up. Remember seeing him putting everything back the way it was. And just before I was about to black out, I sat up super fast and was like, "Wait." He said, "What?" I said, "Will I remember any of this?" He said, "Maybe. It depends." I just shrugged and was like, "Okay," and continued on going back to sleep. And then I woke up not too long, I don't think, after they left. I know it was dark when they first arrived, but I know it began to get light outside when they were leaving. 4 hours maybe, more or less. I think the part of me talking to him is buried somewhere within my brain because when I woke, I was very dehydrated. There are other events that have come back to me in a sort of REM sleep, I've noticed. And that's the end. Okay, this is like, choom, my brain is blown right about now. Okay, the Hat Man, I do associate him with aliens. It's for you guys that don't know, I named the Hat Man phenomena and the Shadow People phenomena. And I wrote the book in '97 called The Secret War, and then another book called The Hat Man. And The Secret War, I talk about good and bad aliens, shadow beings being connected to them, and the Hat Man. And, of course, I was kind of ridiculed quite profusely about that, and now I get no credit for any of it. But, it's true. It's like, what was this girl talking about? These beings that could go through walls that are all black and sounds like science fiction, and now they're all about, oh, wow, I guess they are related to aliens. And here's a clear-cut case right about here. And I have other stories like this myself. This is submitted to MUFON. And this person straight up just relates it to what seemed to be an alien connection, but only describes this being, which is quite dark and evil, but is talking about putting an implant into somebody's leg. Quite different. I don't hear of Hat Man doing that generally. So that was a doozy. That was a doozy. Very cool. Very, well, not cool. But these LOLs and this casual talk about this guy, he's not a good guy. He's horrible. He's nothing to take lightly. If he's around too much, whew, and coming in your mind's eye and all that stuff, he is very much about threatening, harming, and yeah, been seen right alongside of alien beings and whatnot. But now think about that. This guy is known to do horrible things: rape, beat, scratch, bite, yank people's souls out of their sleeping bodies, or astral projecting. It is really disturbing stuff. And yeah, and he's working alongside these so-called aliens flying around in ships. Makes me a little nervous to have any of these beings stop by for any amount of time that do abductions. Read my book, The Secret War, is all I can tell you. All right, moving on. That was just crazy. All right. Alien encounter in Austin, Texas. This happened January 13th, 2018. In brief, the witness states, "I was flowing in the air." I think they mean flying. People don't edit this stuff. I'm just playing along, okay? One on each side of me. Okay. Bed sleeping. I asked to be awake, then woke up back in my bed. About 2 to 3 weeks, two different objects was in the sky, moving in a circle with very big lights. After this object, it disappeared. One had to be very big white lights, and very big.
This is New York firefighter Raphael Porriette for Firehouse Subs. Every day, a part of every sub you buy at Firehouse Subs helps provide life-saving equipment for first responders. And now, for a limited time, they're introducing the Daily Sub Special. Every day, get a medium sub of the day for just $5.55. They kick it off with Meatball Monday and finish it off with Italian Sunday, with something delicious every day in between for just $5.55. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives. Tap the banner now to learn more.
Red in the middle of these lights. The other object had very big white lights, then disappear. They are back to visit me again after my son beat the shizzle out of them. I hope they would not return. I cannot have any kids. No parts. Huh? These aliens were from 6'5" to 6'8". Very long fingers. They woke me up to see them, and then I was asleep again. Wow, man. Couldn't you just put more detail and make full sentences? That sounds like it would have really been beneficial for us all to learn more about that. Guys, take your time. Take your time. These are life-changing events, and how are we going to learn from each other if we're not taking the time to write it out? Just tip, tap it out, okay? All right. Oh boy, what a name. How am I going to... Okay, we're going to try to sound this one out. UFO sighting in Ocracoke, North Carolina. This occurred January 15th, 2018. In brief, they state, taking walk saw intensely bright yellowish light, which disappeared, poof, after 1 second. In more detail, while taking a walk after supper, I noticed at quite a distance in the sky an intensely bright light, which I at first took for a star. But I walked under a tree, and when I emerged, poof, it was gone. And the stars I observed were quite dimmer and bluish so. No explosion, no path, nothing. It went invisible, almost like they saw me looking and turned on the invisibility switch, but this was way up to the sky in the north at a distance 2,000 plus feet probably. All I saw was the intense light. Then poof! Was not a plane, star, meteor, nada. Just know what I saw. I have seen numerous advanced military craft in the sky over the years. This was difficult and different. Maybe it was a quasar. If so, there will be a record of it by someone. Maybe it was to the northeast of the North Carolina, 6:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It very well could be a quasar, but since I've never seen one before, I'm not sure. It was insanely bright. If no one reports a quasar at that time, then I guess it will be unknown. Look at the fine detail of a bright light in the sky. But here we had an alien encounter with jagged sentences, and my goodness, that's amazing. All right, moving on. I am so judgmental. I just want to learn. Tell us what happened. Okay, this next UFO sighting happened in Whitefish, Montana, January 15th, 2018. They put SR-72, question mark, Aurora, question mark, Pulse Jet Tech, question mark, Pulse Detonation Engine, question mark. In more detail, they state, I was outside on a ladder on the front porch, taking down Christmas lights. Warm weather for this time of year, clear, partly cloudy, blue skies. It was approximately 1 p.m. Heard bizarre popping sound. Turned around and look up and notice perfectly shaped donut hole contrails heading to the southwest at high altitude and extremely high rate of speed. I am a 30-year retired Boeing employee from the Space Division at Huntington Beach, California. Well, all right. I retired with a secret clearance. Oh, we're getting some hints about what this person did. I worked in manufacturing and inventory management. I have seen, watched, and heard many aircraft and rockets over my career, whether at Vandenberg or Edwards Air Force Base or Long Beach Airport when it existed. I knew immediately that this was unusual. I immediately got down, ran into the house to grab my camera, and took some pics of the contrail rings. By the time I got back outside, the contrails were gone over my house and towards the southwest. My guess is extreme winds at high altitudes. This object flew directly over my house and was gone within seconds. Alrighty. This next, this is a big sighting. Okay, we're gonna do it. Okay, here we go. UFO sighting in Villa Park, Illinois, not far from me. It's a UFO blast from the past. This happened April 23rd, 2012. Entity exited large glowing orb. In lots more detail. I lived in a townhouse and often sleep on the ground floor in my living room on the couch where I could see both front and back doors, including a sliding glass patio door leading to the backyard. This event occurred approximately in the early morning hours of late April 2012. I am a 30-year-old male Army veteran and lived alone at the time. Being a former military man, I was and am still a very avid and active supporter of self-defense. During and also after my military service, I have always kept a weapon in my home for self-defense purposes. Even sleeping with a weapon, a .38 caliber pistol, no further than arm's length, in case of intruder or burglar. Up until this event, I was also very skeptical and unbelieving of anything I hadn't seen with my own eyes, especially things of paranormal, supernatural, etc. Anything of that nature. All of this changed one early morning of April 2012. About 4:45 a.m. one morning as I slept on my living room couch, a strange feeling came across me and I awoke from my sleep into the pitch blackness of the room. As I moved myself to a sitting position, I saw a small flash of yellowish light piercing my sliding glass patio door through the closed, though it was closed, I'm sure they mean, tall swaying blinds. At first, I didn't think much of it until only seconds later, not only did I see another flash of light, this time the flash was red and seemed larger. Thinking maybe there was an intruder inside the closed wooden gate of my backyard, I quickly grabbed my silver .38 pistol from the floor near the couch and hurried to look through the blinds. What I saw next changed my life and has affected me mentally until this day. Oh, I bet. As I stood at the sliding glass door looking across the parking lot, maybe 60 feet away on the rooftop of the adjacent townhome directly in front of me, was a perfectly round, extremely bright orb, which could have been approximately 5 to 6 feet in diameter. I couldn't help feeling as if I was being beckoned to come to the door with these flashes of light. After about 10 seconds or so of staring at the bright luminescent orb, it had doubled in size and again changed color to yellowish green in a single flash of bright light. Wow, that's amazing. Immediately following the flash, there was what sounded like a large, very loud helicopter if one would have been directly over my house. At the same time, the orb grew. Something that looked like a large praying mantis mixed with a snake flew out of the orb and straight up. Okay, I am grossed out. Praying mantis are in the orbs? Are you serious? I don't think I've ever heard of a story of a praying mantis coming out of an orb. Wow, okay. I could see that it had what seemed like a long 3 to 4 foot tail as it exited what I can only describe as a portal, and then the portal was gone, almost as quickly as it had exited this orb. The being flew directly towards me. Oh, heck no. As now the loud sound was piercing, and the being moved at an incomprehensible speed towards me. It took all of 2 to 3 seconds to cross the 60 feet of parking lot between the adjacent rooftop of the townhome directly behind me, over my wooden backyard fence, where it came to stop directly in front of me. no more than 2.5 feet, hovering about 5 feet off the ground. Okay, I am serious. I have chills top to bottom right now. At this time, the creature displayed no lights. It was all black with what seemed like very strange symbols I had never seen before that went across the midsection torso area. At first glimpse, I could only describe this being as a biomechanical praying mantis mixed with a snake. Just the nastiest things on earth. It had a small head, long ringed neck, but very large inlaid black eyes that extended beyond the sides of its head, which I saw last as I quickly and carefully looked it over from bottom to top. My jaw stood wide in awe. Out of sheer terror and the close proximity it was to me, I immediately raised my weapon over my head and pressed it firmly against the glass of the sliding doors. Okay, all right, all right. Almost as soon as I had made this motion, the entity, while still hovering in midair less than 3 feet away from me, separated only by the glass of the patio door, the creature then extended from both sides what I can only describe as two sets of wing-like appendages and emitted what looked like hundreds of tiny blue sparkling lightning bolts in every direction above and below each of the four appendages. I say appendages because if they were wings, they didn't seem to be used for flight, just because of the sheer fact it did not use them after it exited the large orb-like portal from which it had emerged and flew directly towards me, nor did it use them to hover in place, which seemed to encompass and engulf the being completely. At this moment, the loud helicopter static-like sound had stopped. Each of these small blue lightning bolt-like energy emissions were no larger than my pinky finger. After just a few short seconds of me witnessing these lightning bolt-like electric emissions, the entity shot directly up and over the roof of my home at an amazing speed out of sight toward the front of the townhome. Okay, I'm breathing. After much time and thought, I've come to the conclusion that this entity did not spread the wing-like appendages and emit the plasma-like discharge until I brandished my weapon, leading to me to believe that this display must have been some sort of protective energy field to shield itself had I fired upon it. Oh, I wish you shot it good. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Although this entire encounter, which started at about 4:45 p.m. and lasted no longer than 5 to 6 minutes or less, about 2 minutes after the being had disappeared out of view over my home, I quickly ran to the back door less than about 3 feet away from where I stood and went outside. As I stood there staring into the sky, I immediately realized that it had left almost the exact time of dawn because the sun was coming up. Honestly, I don't like giving this part of the account, but at that moment I realized that what I thought to be only 5 to 6 minutes, in reality, over an hour had passed. Oh no, because it was now dawn, with the sun quickly rising, until to this day, years later, I'm still no closer to an answer of what this being could have been, what it wanted, why it beckoned me to the door with the light flashes, and most importantly, what happened during that missing hour. If anyone has had similar experience and or any further information that could help, it would be greatly appreciated. Oh wow, that I feel that pain of that person. Here you see something out of a nightmare and you think you got the drop on it. You're like, I got a weapon, buddy. And it protects itself. But somehow it froze you and took possession of your time, your life, your body. Because this sounds to me like you may have been assaulted. Anything that is against your will is an assault. And you have missing time. And that just breaks my heart. this is serious, people. This is disgusting what people go through. I am just, oh my goodness. And praying mantis are not known to be fuzzy and sweet. Just put it that way. Everything I've ever heard about them, it's been intrusive, abusive, and low down. I'm so sorry you've had to deal with that. But gosh, we come to the bottom of another show once again. Thank you so much for listening to UFO Headline News with me, Heidi Hollis. Be sure to check out ufoheadlinenews.com every single day. And also tune into my other
From paying off some holiday expenses, to those home renovations, to even banking for the future, count on Columbia to help kickstart your 2018 financial goals with our low-rate, no-fee home refinance program. Take advantage of this amazing opportunity and pay no fees, making now the best time to refinance your home. So help fulfill all your short and long-term financial resolutions at your local branch or ColumbiaBankOnline.com. The low-rate, no-fee home refinance program. Apply today.
Equal housing lender and member FDIC. New Jersey properties only.
show The Outlanders every Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And check out theoutlanderscomic.com. And everything I mentioned here you can find on HeidiHollis.com. And go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com. If you've experienced anything out of the ordinary and want some level-headed advice, or if you've seen a UFO and want to share and just write me. Go to HeidiHollis.com or come here to UFOHeadlineNews.com, and we have our email listed there. Remember, always keep an open mind so you can stay informed and inspired.
From paying off some holiday expenses, to those home renovations, to even banking for the future, count on Columbia to help kickstart your 2018 financial goals with our low-rate, no-fee home refinance program. Take advantage of this amazing opportunity and pay no fees, making now the best time to refinance your home. So help fulfill all your short and long-term financial resolutions at your local branch or ColumbiaBankOnline.com. The low-rate, no-fee home refinance program. Apply today.
Equal housing lender and member FDIC.